Compounding lies with more lies is never the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. Take a look at this photo. That's the photo of the supposed moment of the murder, isn't it? How many more times must I see that which, damned me more for my sin? The ironic thing is, I think this picture is actually going to be your savior now. See the blood stain at the end of Ponko's arm, where it was severed with a katana? I hope you aren't claiming it's the robot's blood, Mr. Wright. No, most likely the blood was transferred there from the bloody katana. The katana already had blood on it? So then it must have been the victim's blood. That's right. But if that's the case, we found a glaring inconsistency. Gah. You said in your testimony that you cut up Ponko, and then you killed Dr. Cykes. But, in spite of that, the victim's blood is already on Ponko's arm in this picture. What? But that couldn't be. Exactly. In order for the blood to have transferred from the sword to Ponko's arm, the victim must have been stabbed first before the robot was slashed. In other words, Prosecutor Blackwell, your entire testimony is nothing but one giant ball of lies. Gah! And where's his bird? We're not gonna see his bird? Where's the bird? Tell the truth, Prosecutor Blackwell, now. You have no idea what you're doing. His voice. There's so much discord. I'm hearing not just one or two, a bunch of rampaging emotions here. It's hard to describe. It's like a violent whirlpool or something. Whoa. Phoenix Wright! You will pay for this. Uh-oh. Never have I been forced to reveal so much, but the rest I'll take to my grave. Prosecutor Blackwell, you are on the witness stand. You are obligated to tell the truth. Isn't that the rule of the courtroom? All of these complex emotions, they seem to be flowing from one source. I think whatever he really saw that day is what's causing these feelings. Uh-oh. Okay. It's, we will be a probe. I forgot this probe functionality, but we're about to discover something, supposedly something he doesn't want anyone to know. Most importantly, Athena. Yeah, I kind of forgot the probe functionality here. Following the sound of crying, I opened the lab door, and then I saw it. That terrible scene. But before I could lead Athena out of there, curse my luck, Dr. Cykes came in. I had no choice but to kill my mentor. Ah, this voice. It hurts to even listen to it. He's been living with this pain inside him for all these years. And the root of it all is hidden somewhere in this testimony, isn't it? Yes, that's right. Please hurry. Please set him free, Mr. Wright. I think he actually witnessed Dr. Sykes dead here. The root cause of all these emotions is this! I'm actually not getting any particular big reading there, Mr. Wright. Oh, is that not it? Guess that's not it then. What could have caused Blackwell to react with all these emotions all at once? Is it gonna be Ponko? That's not the robotic slab, though. Huh. I would still say that... maybe he was removing the sword rather than... but that doesn't make sense, actually. Like, if someone is actually stabbed, like, removing the sword is actually more damaging. It's not a good idea. If someone gets stabbed with a sharp object, and you can actually pull that object out, do not do that. The only thing that will do is just increase the blood loss. I think it's gonna be this. It's either, if it's not, like, if like it's this scene here. It is this scene here. It is weird that you actually don't get penalized here. Oh no. Okay, so he actually believes that. He actually, like, Blackwell actually believes that Athena killed her mother. When you opened the door and saw Athena, you became overwhelmed by your emotions. Isn't that right, prosecutor? You should know better. And though it's pathetic, I admit I'm terrified to speak of it. Prosecutor Blackwell, Miss Cykes is innocent. I will always believe that with all my heart. Now, can't you find it within yourself to believe in me too? Athena is innocent, huh? Can you honestly say you believe that to be true? Right, Dono? I give you my word. Now tell me what you really saw when you opened that door. Curse you, Phoenix Wright. Cutscene? It was a tragedy. One I'll never forget. When I arrived at the lab, Dr. Cykes was already dead. She was lying on the operating table, while the bloody katana lay on the floor. And stand between the two, covered in blood, was Athena. Son of a bitch. She smiled with a far-off look in her eyes as she sweetly said, "Something wrong with Mom. So I'm taking her apart to fix her." That's what I saw. And now you have it. The truth that you so desperately wanted. Uh-oh. So Edgeworth was right. No. Prosecutor Blackwell finally tells the truth, and this is what it is? It's beyond devastating. I tried to take my mother apart? Uh-oh. So it was me. I'm the one who killed my mother. Athena! As I said, right. The truth isn't always pretty. Murder. Disassembly on an operating table. A scientist using her daughter as a guinea pig. Sadly, it appears that my theory was correct after all.
Objection.
It's true that Athena didn't like her mother's research, but you dare cast aspersions on my mentor by claiming Athena was used in such a manner? Dr. Cykes could be awkward with people, but she loved her daughter with all her heart. She loved me? Your mother hated to see you suffer because you could hear the voices of people's hearts. She wanted to set you free of your pain, so she worked tirelessly on her research. Do you remember those headphones you hated so much? Yes, my head hurt every time I wore them. No, Athena, it's just the opposite. They emitted sound waves that tullify emotional input from the voices of people around you. Well, god damn, it's some high-tech stuff. Your power was much stronger than it is now. Whoa! And those headphones were what enabled you to carry on with everyday life. No, that can't be true. Then why? Why would I have done something like that to somebody who loved me so much? Her love for you was real, that I can guarantee. That's why I knew that what happened had to be some kind of mistake. I couldn't let you be punished for it. So you took the blame yourself. You and your mentor are more alike than you know. Ponko was a witness, so I put it in the case, held Athena close, and vacated the lab, so it was true. Damn. My theory getting crumbled like that. My theory getting crumbled like that. 3 heartbeats. I'm still gonna stick to that. I threw Ponko away in the boarding lounge trash chute. Well, at least we're gonna get to that. That stupid-ass trash chute that nobody used the first time, in the recent murder. And I hid the case. I hid the case on the Space Center grounds. It would seem that we now have all of the facts of this case. No, not yet! It can't end like this. Objection. Do not disgrace yourself, Mr. Wright. The truth has been revealed. Or are you the type of man to turn your back to things that disagree with you? Everyone does. That's natural. That's completely natural. That's called emotions. That is very natural. I'm not. But this... I can't give up. I have to say something. Anything. Even if it's a bluff. I've always managed to pull through that way in the past. I have to make it work. What? The defense is prepared to present evidence. Mr. Wright? Yes, Athena? It's okay. You can stop now. Oh, she's gonna die. To the guillotine you go. Guillotine, guillotine. I don't want you or anyone else to suffer any longer, for my sake. Athena, what are you saying? I killed my mother. That's the truth. It's just like Prosecutor Edgeworth said. We have to face it, no matter how much it hurts. Maybe some of the facts that what happened in the recent Murder is gonna help me here, especially the fact that maybe she was drugged. I would probably put it to that. The fact that she is not aware of what happened at the moment. Just like Prosecutor Edgeworth said, did I mispronounce that twice? Just like Prosecutor Edgeworth said, we have to face it, no matter how much it hurts. I admit my guilt. But could I please be granted just one chance to tell everyone what I recall? Yeah, that's definitely for the best. Huh. It appears Miss Cykes is much braver than you, Mr. Wright. What say you, Your Honor? In light of her courage, will the court give Miss Cykes this opportunity to confess? Very well. Then if you would, please take the stand, Miss Cykes. Thank you for letting me do this, Prosecutor Edgeworth. And thank you, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Blackwell, for letting the truth be known. Now we can finally move forward, and everyone's suffering can come to an end. Athena! Prosecutor Blackwell will be cleared, and the dark age of the law can come to an end. How is that related to anything of what's happening in this dark age of the law? Yes, admit your guilt and bring everything to its conclusion. That's sentence sounded really evil. I killed my mother. My memory is still a little hazy, but there's no question. I remember it. Is that a run-on sentence? I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. That's the contradiction, by the way. There it is. There were no blood on the handle. That's it. That's a contradiction. Your Honor, please find me guilty. I dare say these are all memories that no one but the murderer would have. I see. Thank you for your confession. I believe this trial has gone on long enough. But before we conclude, does anyone have a counter-argument?
Objection!
I do, Your Honor. Mr. Wright? But Mr. Wright, why? I killed her. I remember it now. Any counter-argument now is pointless.
Objection!
Don't tell me you've forgotten one of the basic tenets of lawyering. Always believe in the client to the better end. Athena, you're not a murderer.
Objection!
I said that you never change, but could you have actually regressed in these 8 years? I I won't stand for your childish emotionalism getting in the way of the truth. Emotionalism? Even Phoenix find it ludicrous. Emotionalism? Don't lecture me on matters of the heart, Edgeworth. Because I can see straight into a person's soul. Magatama time! I did a little research. I looked into those special psyche-locks you mentioned, Mr. Nick. Athena isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart and her memories are sealed off, even from herself. How does that even work? How does that even work? There's still a chance. Somewhere deep in Athena's heart. I mean, I already have the goddamn contradictory statement. There might still be a memory that not even she knows about yet. It might be like looking for a grain of sand somewhere in the cosmos, but still, that memory might contain a new fact that could prove her innocence. I mean, she already said that the blood flew from the handle. The blood flowed from her handle to her hands. There are no blood on the handles. That memory might contain a new fact that could prove her innocence. I hope for everyone's sake that you are not just bluffing, Mr. Wright. Now then, is there or is there not a problem with Miss Cykes' confession? My memory is still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. That's it. There's definitely something wrong with her memory of the event. I can just tell. If there is a problem with her confession, please prove it to this court now. Only on the blade. Isn't that the katana the defendant used to kill the victim, Mr. Wright? Vehemently? That's a new word for me. What does that even mean? Vehemently.
Vehemently.
Vehement. I guess I've heard of that word before. In a forceful, passionate, or intense manner, with great feeling. That's what it means. I respectfully and vehemently disagree, Your Honor. I've heard of that. I've heard of that word before, I think, but I don't think I've ever read it. Vehemently. Vehemently, But I remember it. I remember holding the weapon and getting blood on my fingers. This is not what I wanted to pick. That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. This simulator is trash! That's exactly my point. If blood really did get on your fingers while you were holding it, the game would have not crashed. Yeah, we're back, viewers. We're back after the crash. There should be blood on the handle. But please focus on the handle of the sword. There's not a trace of blood on it. And therefore, this is clearly a contradiction of the facts. You're right. Oh my!
Objection!
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, she might have been remembering things wrong. The defendant must have been simply confused a portion of her memories. She mentioned it was hazy to begin with, and we can mull over every minor detail.
Objection!
But she also said there's no question I remember it, a fact we can't ignore. In that case, why don't you explain what this contradiction with her memories means? Gladly. Just give me a sec to think of something. I want to say that Athena didn't stab anyone. But she said it herself that she remembers the feeling of committing the act. Think, Phoenix, think. Huh. What could the contradiction with Athena's memories mean? The blood was wiped off the weapon? No, the defendant used a different weapon. Is this where the, Is this where this gonna come into play? The defendant uses a different weapon. That's probably even... It's probably the one that's gonna be illogical, even though that's still is not going to, you know, to clear her. Miss Cykes said blood flowed down the handle, but the katana's handle is spotless. So doesn't it follow that the defendant must have used a weapon other than the katana? What are you up to this time? This is it. This time, I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good. Really? By Space Center Text. The weapon that took Dr. Cykes' life was the katana. That much is for sure. So if I can show a possibility that Athena didn't use the katana, it could help me prove her innocent. A different weapon, you say? What weapon would that be exactly? Alright, of course he would ask that. I mean, we are gonna bluff, and of course we're gonna bluff that it's gonna be the utility knife. What was it called? What was it called? Yeah, utility knife. I can see you're floundering, Mr. Wright. Did you speak without thinking again, as always? How does he do that? But I can't back down. Not here. Not now. How does he know? That's right, I did, because it's so obvious, it doesn't require any thought. What did you say? Okay, so maybe that was an exaggeration. But there has to be something. Was there some other bladed weapon in the robotics lab that day? Is the game expecting me to get to find the weapon from this? Is it gonna be the So yeah, it is. It is the utility blade. Yep. Maybe there's something in one of the crime scene photos. Wait a minute. There is something. There's a high probability that that was in the lab. I don't have that particular weapon here in evidence right now, but I think we do have it. I do have a piece of evidence just like it. Yeah, I think it is. Pretty much. The utility knife. Other than the katana, this is another blade that may have been at the crime scene. Well, since they call it a blade, so this is gonna make it easy, really. But that's the murder weapon in the clay tearing case. Yes, this is a knife that took Mr. Terran's life. There must have been a knife just like this at the scene 7 years ago as well. Toolkits containing utility knives like this one are issued to Space Center employees. And a robotic lab, especially, would naturally have one of these around.
Objection.
Where is the knife? But beside the katana, no other bladed weapon was found at the site. It wasn't the investigation report, if you didn't know.
Objection.
Of course I knew that, once you told me just now. Then there's something else you already knew. Then here's something else you already knew. There was a toolkit at the scene. But it didn't contain any blades. Here's the photo of its contents. That means that it's actually missing, then. Is the order of it a little bit different? It should be looking similar to this. GY. GYAXA. G. This, and this, and this. Yeah, and this one is gonna be in the middle, yeah. Alright. Cool. You're right. I don't see any kind of bladed tool. Fine. But isn't there something odd about the design of these handles? Therefore, there was no other blade weapon in the room.
Objection.
Yep. Objection, because there was a missing blade. I disagree. This toolkit contained a knife. And what proof do you have of that? I mean, just because it had a pattern doesn't mean that there was a knife at the time. Don't tell me your eye for art is failing you too, Mr. Edgeworth. What does that mean? You're the last person in the world who should be criticizing my aesthetic sense. Now, he's simply watching out for your ocular health. Please proceed, Mr. Wright. Notice that the handles of each of these tools have a sort of design on them. Ah, I see that they do, but what significance does that have? It's clear that one of the tools is missing from this kit. If we rearrange the tools into a specific pattern, you might be able to tell which part of the overall design is missing. Is that the theory your pitiful sense of aesthetics helped you come up with? Yeah. He got angry. He got angry because I called him, like, you know, a man with no taste. Edgeworth, just let it go, man. Show the court, then, if you would. What pattern or design would we see if we were rearrange the tools? I thought they were actually gonna let us rearrange it. Is this the only one? Yeah, this is the only one.
Take that!
And what design is this supposed to represent? The GYAXA logo, Your Honor. It's on all of the Space Center's documents and pamphlets. Are you aware GYAXA is the program that operates the Cosmos Space Center? Look at how brightly the Gyaxa logo shines. Yeah, I'm gonna call it Gyaxa. The Gyaxa logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going. Gyaxa, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program? Ah, I think I see it now. But yes, with just the tools shown in this photo, the game is gonna do the work for us. The red A part of the logo is missing. And this is where the murder weapon from the Terran case comes into play. If we were to place the utility knife in the open slot, it would complete the Gyaxa logo. So it would. Then that means... Admit it, Edgeworth. My aesthetic sense is keener than yours. And while you're at it, admit that the weapon Miss Sykes used could have been this one. Okay, that was funny. Order! Order in the court! No order! Miss Sykes confessed to having a memory of stabbing the victim. Admittedly, Miss Sykes most likely did stab someone, using the utility knife. However, the weapon used to kill Mr. Sykes was the katana. Therefore, the act of stabbing that Miss Sykes remember couldn't be that of Dr. Sykes. Actually, that's kind of smart. That she remembered that she stabbed someone. But who was that someone? I mean... Did he actually lose his eye? Is that it? I think he... No. I think he has both his eyes. So, who did she stab? Who the hell did she stab? Very well. Let's suppose for a minute that Miss Sykes did use the utility knife. Tell me, how does that change anything? Come again? I mean, no fingerprints on the blade. What if the katana was only being used as a decoy to conceal the true murder weapon? No. The true murder weapon is the katana. Huh? What? Why are you thinking that it's not the true murder weapon? It is the true murder weapon. What if the real weapon that took the victim's life was the utility knife? You have to prove that. Don't be ridiculous. Or are you changing the premise of your entire argument? I'm merely offering a hypothetical situation derived from your logic. Miss Cykes could have put blood on the katana to make it look like the murder weapon. Okay, so whatever you want to say here, Edgeworth, is in the end you're gonna have to prove it. That's the big problem with going with all of that. At least we're gonna get lucky with one of the evidence. With one of the pieces of evidence that we have, but you don't have anything. Miss Cykes could have put blood on the katana to make it look like the murder weapon, and then concealed the knife on her personage until Blackwell carried her away. That does clear up the contradiction between Miss Cykes' memories and the evidence. I mean, she's a little girl. Why would she do that? If, in fact, the murder weapon is a utility knife, then fate has dealt you a cruel hand. For you have just proven the knife's existence to the rest of us with your own logic.
Objection!
The prosecution is attempting to lead the court.
Objection!
You're the one attempting to lead the court, Mr. Wright, by forcing us to forget the facts of this case. Need I remind you that there were only 2 people in the lab at the time of the murder? This is something that I try to say, I try to convey to the game, but it didn't take it. And that the defendant herself recalls stabbing someone with her own hands? No. It matters not whether the murder weapon was a katana or a utility knife, as long as we know that the victim and the defendant were the only ones there. You cannot escape the fact that it was Athena Cykes who killed her own mother. I don't believe it. Why? Why does this keep happening? Every time I find a contradiction, it vanishes and the suspicion keeps coming back. Can we not ask Ponko? It's almost as if... Now you're finally starting to get it. Your contradictions keep vanishing because the charge is true. And the suspicion keeps coming back to the defendant because that's where it belongs. I mean, the idea here is to try and prove that the knife was there and then been missing. As long as we can actually do that, I think this is gonna be our case. And I think there's something here that might actually help us with it. Oh no, I thought this he actually gonna be using the utility kit here, and we can actually track if he had used it or not.